Hello. Hi. I'm here in my PJs on my couch. I'm very color coordinated. Look, I've got gray, pink. Gray, pink. We're doing a podcast. By we, I mean moi, moi, moi. And I hope you listen. I hope you listen. Sometimes it'll be a bit more of a professional situation, but sorry now. All the money in the world, you wouldn't be able to get this kind of lighting. This is just sunlight coming in from the kitchen on this MacBook. I look quite pretty. Each week we're going to talk about very important topics. Very important topics. Do you understand me? And we're going to change things around here. We're going to make a real positive impact on this world. Do you understand? Look at me when I'm talking to you. Welcome to Chica Files. Got my gel nails removed. I've had gel biab. Although I'm convinced they're all the same. Like, they are all damaging the nails. Like, my nails are wafer thin. So sensitivo. I have to keep them so short. And even at that, they're bending back. We're in for a Fugly Toe Summer, folks. A Fugly Toe Summer. Now, I have always identified as an ugly foot person. I've always been in that camp since the day I was born. Well, actually, I imagine I had probably nice feet when I was a kid. Little chubby little bootsies. But I know what I'm dealing with. Every summer, I know what sandals to purchase to make it look like I have prettier feet than I have. So I usually get I wear Doc Martens and the kind of thick strap. So you just see like the toes, like the painted nails, you know. Or a Birkenstock lady. I'm a Birkenstock gal. Shocker. And don't make fun. They're timeless classiques. Birkenstocks and Dr. Martens. Don't tell me otherwise. But, chicas, we have an issue. We're in for a Fugly Toe Summer. Do you understand what I mean when I'm saying that? I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take it way back. Last summer, I was at a wedding with my lover. Ooh, mysterious boy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Mysterious boy. Come back close to my toe. Which is what he did. He moved his body close to my toe in what could only be described as a Cuban heel. A Cuban heel on his suit shoes. It was clicking clacking all over the place. And we were dancing. And he stood on my toe. And honestly, I've never felt pain like it. Well, that's not true. Off the top of the dome, top pain, where it goes and like pain, I've experienced physical pain in my life. I would say getting the Marina coil put in was numero uno montes. And I would say, I did drop a cinder block on my toe when I was 13. And I did break my foot last year. A lot of foot, sorry. Are you guys noticing that too? There's connection here. We got connection going on. For some reason, it's all foot related. Who cursed me? Actually, is what I really want to know. I've got bunions. Baby girl's got bunions for days. Someone once called them knuckles. Oh my lord. And in drama, I was in university, I did drama and theatre studies. And then I went to drama college, and you have to walk around barefoot, which, first of all, disgusting. I'm going to lie on the floor and stuff, which I never. If this is the floor, I would always, my whole body on the floor, my head slightly lifted off. I'm not putting this skin on a dirty, nasty floor. I remember in my university, a guy in my class, I won't say who he is, but he used to pick his toes. Yes, he used to pick his toes in class. And then y'all want me to lie on that? Hell no. Ooh. People ask me, how do you get such good skin? I don't put it on the manky, dirty floor with your man's toe. So, anyway, last summer, we're boogie on the dance floor, Cuban heel, clickety-clacks onto my tootsie. The pain was crazy. And I remember thinking, there goes my toenail, but at least it's the end of summer. Fast forward to March, I'm thinking, toenail still hanging on. In fact, there's a bruise. I was able to wear heels with toes out for a wedding in March. Next thing I know, fast forward to last week, I'm in bed, getting into bed, moisturizing the bod, as you do. Lovely little treat. I rub the feet. I look at my toenail. I say, what the frick is going on there? And I see, sorry if you're squeamish now, but I promise it's not gory. But if you're squeamish, just skip forward. Get me gets is a good boy. And like very close to the nail bed, it is cracked. It is cracked more than halfway, but it is still clinging on. The toenail wants off. She wants out of here, but I'm not ready to let her go. That's what's happening here. She said her goodbyes. I'm saying, wait, don't leave. But there's no blood. It's very clean. But like, what do I do? Do I take it all? Because, sorry again if you're squeamish, but like, she wants out. She's lifting off. She's ready for lift off, and it's going to get caught in things. And then, so I'm like, do I get it removed? Whoa, that's crazy. And then do I have like a naked toe for the summer? Guys, I'm going to Marseille. I'm going to the south of France. I'm going to Marseille. Have you any idea how gorgeous the people are? Look at me when I'm talking to you. Have you any idea how gorgeous the people are down there in that goddamn place? Like, beautiful. Very cool. Very gorgeous. And I'm already translucent. I'm already, milk is what's under my skin. And that is not cool. It's never been cool. Unless you're Nicole Kidman. I can't think of anyone else who's pale, famously. So I'm already working with that. And on top of that, I'm already working with ugly feet. I've been working with that my whole goddamn life. But now you're telling me, on top of that, we're going to take a toenail off, the big toe. And I've been there before. I've been down this road before. When I was 13, as I said, when I dropped the cinder block on my toe, just for fun. I was such a rebellious teen. No, what actually happened was there was a cinder block on its side. And a cinder block, Google it. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it's one of those concrete things that signs, like temporary road signs go in. And it was on its side, and my friend was like standing on it, so I was holding his hand, and he was like walking on this row of cinder blocks, and then sure didn't one of them flop onto my toe. Flop, flop, flop. Very painful. My parents still hold it against me because there was a big rugby match on. I think Ireland was in the final of some things. And I was like, hey, this just happened. And they were like, wah! So we had to go to the hospitale. And then they had to put it again. So sorry if you're squeamish. Just maybe skipped the goodbye. They had to put a nail in the toe to relieve the pressure. But it wasn't sore. But it was sore the next few days. But emotionally scarring, because as a 13-year-old girl, what? And then, so that was like February, and then it was summer, and it was such a manky little toe, and we were on a family holiday in Spain in this campsite, and my sister says, take the nail varnish off your toenails and let it breathe, let it breathe. And I said, okay, I'm gonna let the toes breathe, because she was like, you have to let the toenail heal, so like take the nail varnish off. And I said, okay. And then we went and did surfing lessons, because I'm kind of a surfer girl, if you can't tell by my waves right now. I'm like kind of a big deal in the surfing community of 2009. And I used to wear a puka shell necklace for like 5 years, the same one, never took it off. And I had a matching bracelet as well. And I think that qualifies as being pretty freaking awesome, if you ask moi. Anyway, we were doing these surfing lessons. Oh God, I'm about to unpack some heavy lore here. So, as well as the fugly toe, I, for many a year, had a fear of pooing. Trigger warning again if you want to skip on ahead, or just turn the episode off at this point. If you're squeamish, it is probably not for you, my love. And we love you for that. I won't be, well, I don't know. We don't know what the other episodes are going to look like. I've always had this fear of having to do a numero dos in anywhere outside of the confines of the comfort of my bathroom, in whatever, the house, whatever, you know what I mean? To the point that it would give me anxiety and make, when you're already feeling anxious and you feel that little in your stomach and you're like, well, that ain't good. And so the anxiety already makes your stomach like, oh, maybe we will. So I used to be popping Imodiums like there was no tomorrow. To this, I haven't touched an Imodium in years, and I won't, because they just block you up. But I had such a bad fear of the fear was getting the squits in public. Don't know where that came from. And then it's a vicious cycle, because you're like anxious it's gonna happen, and then your stomach makes you, like, the anxiety makes your stomach nervous. It's a whole thing, you guys. So I used to be sneaking into the kitchen, popping Imodiums, which is so bad for you. And then my mom copped what was happening, and she'd be like, what are you doing? I'd be like, nothing. I have my stomach hurts, She's like, Sav, you keep taking those. And I said, I do not have a problem. So I didn't. I had to stop. I was caught red-handed. Mittens in the Imodium. And where am I going with this? It's linked to the surfing story. Was that the same year? It was the same year. So we were going surfing, and I just got in my head. I was like, oh my God, there's like that's like 3 or 4 hours in the sea. And what if I need a poo? So then Kathy and Luke, my brother and sister, oh my God, doxed. Is that the right way to say that? And they were in the morning like, oh my God, I think I need to pee. And I was like, I don't. And then they're like, oh my God, what if you like need to pee? Anyway, I was like, I don't. We do our little surfy surfs. Suddenly I go, oh. Oh my God. I'm getting that little girl, and I'm on the board. I'm thinking, oh, I know this feeling, and this is not a false alarm. And so I said to my sister, I was like, I need to go to the toilet. And she was like, it's fine, just pee and see. And I was like, no, I can't do that. And then I started panicking, and then they still laughed at me to this day that I was like, I need to poo, and I started crying. And then I like managed to get out of the sea, and the instructor was like in the sea, and he was like, where are you going? I was like, I have to go to the toilet. I don't know. And then I went, there was like a little cabin at the top, like up, like you have to cross the beach, go up the steps, whatever, onto the road, whatever, that detail is not important. Then the other teacher was there, and I was like, hola chica, hola chico. And I said, I need to go to the toilet. And then he said, hey, just go in the sea, go in your wetsuit. And I went, so we don't have toilets here. I said, what? So I had to go back down, and I'm freaking out, and I'm waiting for my parents. Like they went for a stroll. Thank God, could see them walking towards me, like pretty far away. And I was like, like waving frantically. I was like, come on, please hurry up, please, oh my God, and trying to get them to hurry up. And then eventually, I like waddled around. I was like, oh, can't do that. We can't do that right now. And then eventually they caught up, and I was like, I had to go. My mom was like, okay, well, it's fine. I was like, no, I have to go right now. So we had to like try to hold the tears back. So then my dad stayed, so we had to leg it back to the caravan, which was like near the beach. But, oh, dear listener, we did not make it to the caravan. We didn't make it to the caravan. So I am power walking, sweating in the summer heat of Espanol. And I was like, oh, I gotta go. And my mom luckily had tissues, so I snatched those tissues, like 3 tissues left, and took a swift right turn up these sand dunes. And your girl, she went hard. Kind of shocked me. And then was just, when you're like shaking from the whole adrenaline, and you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. And it was like broad daylight. And then I went back, I walked back down like shell shocked. I was like, don't tell anybody. Don't ever tell anybody. And then we went back to the beach, and they're like, did you make it back to the caravan? Like, that was really quick. I was like, yeah, we did. And then my mother loved to tell that story to family when family got together, and I find it so embarrassing. It's hilarious, but I was so, you know, when you're a teenager, you're like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing. That same year, back to the toe. So obviously the Spanish surf instructors were gorgeous. And I was 13, and there was a beautiful surf instructor. Can't remember his name. Let's call him Jose. Is that right? Can't remember his name. He was very tanned. He had like blonde. It's when I say Spanish surf instructor, it's exactly what you imagine. Okay, and he, like, the first day, whatever, doing the brief instruction, whatever, and I was daydreaming, looking out to sea or something. I don't know. And then he was like telling everyone how to strap the thing on their leg, and which I knew how to do, by the way, but I was daydreaming. I was distracted because I don't focus when people tell me instructions. What's new? And he next thing I know, I'm looking out to sea. Next thing I know, beautiful man is directly in front of my 13-year-old body, and he's like, hey, and smiley and lovely, obviously. And he was like, which foot is the for the dominant, you know? And I was like, this one. I look down, and what do I see? Little naked nubbin big toe staring at me with no nail varnish to conceal the nakedness, because my sister told me to let it breathe. And so he drops down to a squat in 0.2 seconds because he's so fit, and he literally has a six-pack, and the wetsuit is tied around his tanned, bodacious body, and he drops down. I'm imagining, like, in my mind, he like dropped down to a plank position because that's how fit he was, and was like face to face, face to foot, face to toe, okay, and is strapping that. So already I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I know how to strap the thing onto my leg. And then I'm thinking, he's looking at the toe, my first crush, and I'm like burrowing it as deeply and as quickly as I can into the sand. So I guess you could say I have a history with my feet, don't we all? But he was not my first crush. I say that, but he was not my first crush. My first crush is the guy who played Peter Pan in the live action Peter Pan. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand that? I remember my mom was cooking dinner, and it was on some sort of channel, and I stood, my mom was like, dinner, you know, and they keep calling you for dinner, like, yeah. And I was so close to the television staring at this child, because I too was a child, okay? I was 9 or something. And Peter Pan kisses Wendy. And that's the first time I ever experienced heartbreak. That moment right there was the first time I experienced heartbreak. The ache in my chest as I watched this child kiss another child. Although she was a bit older, I think. You look him up. We might just look it up. But where is he now? I think I did look him up recently, and I was like, yowza. Still got it. That was my first crush. Who was my second celeb crush? Ryan Gosling. Need I say more? The Notebook. End of. I can't ever watch that movie again. It is so heartbreaking, and it's also 2.5 hours long or something. But that movie, oh my lord. Who is my next? No, sorry, before Ryan Gosling was Nick Jonas, and I remember my friend Sinead had a magazine, one of the teen magazines, whatever, and there was Jonas Brothers posters, and she graciously gave me the poster, double side, A3, of Nick Jonas. I myself was a Joe Jonas girl, truly, madly, deeply, Joe Jonas. I still am. So Joe, if you're listening, I hope you like ugly feet. Okay, sorry, I had to go get the charger, and it was a whole thing. We're back. We're back. Okay, next on the crush on the teen crush list was a man who needs no introduction. No, imagine if he's here. No, I watched a film called 10,000 BC when I was 12 years old, and it shook me to my core in ways I will never understand, because no offense, but it was a terrible movie by all accounts. But it did something to me. Number one, I went home and I said, I'm going to be an actor. You understand? I used to go to cinema and then come home and like put makeup up, like makeup as in like make it like dirty and stuff, and then pretend I was in an action movie and act in silence to the mirror. I would not, a peep would come out of my mouth, but I would pretend it was all in my head. But number two, I said, I'm in love for the third time in my life. Fourth, if I wasn't, maybe you can count Nick Jonas, I suppose, but no. Well, go on. And I said, I'm in love for the fourth time in my life. And his name is Stephen Strait, and he played the character of Delay. And oh my god, he's still got it. I'm looking at his IMDb right now. Beautiful man. Oh my god. And he's still acting away. Fair play to you. Fair play to you. Oh my god, I'm kind of blushing. I've got butterflies because it just reminds me of being a tiny gorgeous 12-year-old who fell in love for the fourth time. Next was, will I say this? Am I being crazy right now? I went to go see a concert when I was 15. I was living in Belgium. That's information for another day. We can cover that in another episode, but I don't want to talk about that right now. Right now I want to talk about boys, men that I was in love with, who I was in a relationship with. I was in a relationship with all of those boys. Do you understand what I'm saying? I went to go see the script, but hold your horses. Hold your goddamn horses, because this isn't going where you think it's going to go. The script we're playing in Ensemble Belgique in Belgium. We loved the script. We went, had a little bop. I was 15, I think. But there was a support act before they came on, naturally. And I remember standing there as the act came out, and it was as if the crowd had parted and it was just me and him, with a whopping side fringe that covered my whole forehead, a la Justin Bieber. Heavy eyeliner. I still was wearing the puka shell necklace. I had this t-shirt. It was green, and in black glitter, was the graphic of headphones, as though the headphones were around my neck, because I was a cool girl, kind of like, I already said I was a cool surfer girl very big in the surfing community, and I guess you could say I was also like pretty big in the skateboarding community, even though, important to note, I didn't do either of those things. I mean, I stood on a surfboard, and I guess I stood on a skateboard once while my friend rolled me down the hill. But I was a part of the community, and a big important person of those communities for aesthetic reasons, and only those. But we were standing in the crowd, and the mother friggin' Coronas walked on stage, and I fell in love for the fifth time with Danny. What's his shirt? Black? And I thought, oh my god, he's gonna see me, because we're both Irish and I'm a woman. I'm a grown-ass woman with a puka shell necklace, and he's gonna fall in love with me. So that was the fifth time I fell in love. And then I don't recall any other celebrity like after that until 2021 with Mr. himself, my boyfriend, my fiance, Pedro Pascal. Now, look, it got a bit too intense. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was watching The Last of Us. Terrifying. I can't do horror at all. But I do look up the synopsis because I need to know what happens, and then I read the like full plot, play by play, beat by beat, and even that freaks me out. But I can kind of do the like, whatever, like, what is that? It's not horror, but it's like, it's more the collapse of society, which really gets your girl in a weird place. But I can watch it with someone. So I watched it with my brother. But oh my God, I fell in love for the sixth time. I think this is at this point. And I was having dreams about him. Like it got too real to the point that I go on Instagram and he'd pop up on my page and I'd be like, oh, I kind of felt like, whoa, I need a break from you. Like after last night, like that was, I'd have like a really romantic dream. They were romantic. This was in love. We were in love. And yeah, I'd see him or like on my Instagram and be like, Pedro, please, I need, this is getting really weird. Like, I feel weird seeing you. We need to just cool the jets, honey. Okay. You're getting a bit obsessed with me. So I had to really kind of park that. And now I'm over it. And I'm like, oh, like I honestly, this is crazy. And Pedro, if you're listening, I'll have you out. Pedro, if you're listening, I look at him as though he is an ex-lover, and I had to call it off with him. So whatever that is, psychologically, don't let me know. And then since then, I haven't had any celeb. Have I? I guess Channing Tatum was in there for a while, but not to the same extent. Yeah, I suppose Channing Tatum. Sorry, what am I talking about? Channing Tatum in Step Up 1. No, oh my God, Channing Tatum in Step Up 1. And then who was the guy in Step Up 2 and the lead in Step Up 2? That movie, that poster, that film cover is etched in my brain. That last big dance sequence when they're like, and she's doing that breathing thing, and it's like, oh Lord. Sorry, a little burp there. And that film made me go, Mom, Dad, I want to do dance classes. Cinema is important. And don't forget it. I guess we'll leave it there. That was enough for today's episode. Let me know, who were your first loves and in what order? What was your very first one? And did any of you, who else knows the Peter Pan guy? What is his name? I need to know. This is a need to know basis. Is that a correct use of that? I don't know. I need to know if anyone else was in that boat. And who else were your first crushes? And did you get obsessed? I need to know that. Like, did you get really obsessed? Did you ever meet your lovers? And are you currently in love with a celebrity to that extent? As I said, mine was Pedro Pascal. That was still quite recent. So there you go, guys. And also, any advice on my toe situation? Well, thanks, guys. This has been super fun catching up with you. Oh, before we go, we have a confession. Confession of the week. It's the confession time of the week. Hi, Chica. Hey. I have just moved into a new place with my girlfriend. Congratulations. However, I believe it is haunted. In fact, I am pretty sure it is haunted. Spooky spook. My girlfriend is a big believer in all things woo-woo. I, famously, am not. And so, I haven't told my girlfriend what I've experienced. I won't get into the details, but I have been home alone twice now since we've moved in, and some pretty freaky stuff has happened. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't believe in ghosts. What should I do? First of all, love that for you. Love that you're getting proved wrong. And sorry, that's karma. You've been trash talking ghosts, so the ghost community got together and they said, do you need to share this mail lesson? But I would also tell your girlfriend, because that will make her so happy. Don't keep that from her. And then I suppose get somebody whose job is to get rid of ghosts, right? I've actually, touch wood, I've never experienced that. I fully believe in ghosts and spirits, but I have one. Actually, that's for episode 2. The woo woo is for episode 2 too. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening to episode 1 of the Chica Files podcast. And see you next time. Love you.